Hey there, and welcome to another episode of the Designated Pundits. It is a preview for MLS Matchday 3. We have the best picks and predictions around Major League Soccer, one of the only podcasts bringing you live sports betting each and every week. Thank you for joining us every Thursday, 8 o'clock on YouTube, on Twitter X, on wherever you consume this content. Thank you for joining us, and let's get into the show. Show, of course, is the nice way of saying I have too many screens up and too many buttons to click. Let's waste some time as I get everything up for the show. I'm Bob, here today with Scott, Alex, and Dion, as we have some great Major League Soccer picks, all stuff from around the league. Gentlemen, how are we doing tonight?
Good.
Doing great. Yeah. How you doing, man?
Doing well. And I'm excited for Match Day 3. I'm excited because it's the first match day. I'll be home the entire time. It is not a home game. I'll be able to watch live on TV. That's always exciting. But when I was looking up and down the sportsbook, I did not find the kind of odds that we had match day 1 and match day 2. We had to get a little creative. We had to go back to the laboratory to pull up some good picks this week. Still think we got them. And we have some great things to talk about. First, a quick recap of last week. Was another plus money week for us. It was a mix. There were some wins and some losses, but some plus money plays landed the show in the positive. Alex with the golden sombrero, 0 for 3, but I know he has some great picks because we agree on some picks this week. So let's turn that around this week. Overall, the show is still profitable. Over the second week, we were up 1.99 units, 8 and 10. So we were losing, but those plus money plays on 18 wagers, plus 1.99 units on the whole show. And if we look over our season stats so far, plus 6.71 units, 22 and 19. I'm in the lead with 374 units in the plus. Dion, 3.59. Scott, plus 2.26. Alex is turning it around this week. I smell it in the air. Minus 2.88 units. Still a pretty good bet. I mean, there are other major podcasts, Barstool, that would be like in the negative 15 by now already. So it's still looking up for our show here. Gentlemen, are you ready to talk some soccer?
Yes,
Absolutely.
Let's go.
First match we have here is going to be the Columbus Crew hosting the Houston Dynamo. Saturday, 2:30 at lower.com field. This is the early game of the match day, I guess like the featured Saturday match. Columbus Crew minus 120 to win. Houston Dynamo plus 310. The draw sitting at plus 280. Nothing spectacular there. Over under 2.5 goals. Minus 136 to the over. And you have some team totals there. We have one official play, and we're going to throw over to Alex early as he talks about Columbus Crew versus the Houston Dynamo.
This is where I don't like Houston Dynamo that is about Columbus Crew. Columbus Crew just got spanked in the Champions League this past week. Now they're home. Houston's coming in. After that disaster on Sunday night with the red card and referees against Inter Miami, I don't see Houston getting a result here at all. Minus 120 Columbus. I liked it straight up. I didn't want to do any other, over, under, blah, blah, blah. I think they're just going to win straight up in this game. I'm going to just take Columbus and take the minus 120 at home. Big bounce back game for them. Tired of that. I just don't like Houston at all so far with the roster they have right now. I think Columbus is going to spank them.
Houston, usually the defensive powerhouse, don't even have that working for them right now. We talked about them selling Mikhail without any clue what to do with the back line there. They do have some bright spots like Jack McGlynn, but Ezekiel Ponce has not looked the striker role. He's their big DP for this year. Gentlemen, anyone else going to get on a Columbus-Houston bet?
I don't know. I struggle with this one just because both these teams are a little too undefined right now. Columbus, there's still some things about Columbus that is good. They're better than maybe I thought they would be, losing the players that they lost, but they still lost the players that they lost, and the top end kind of went out. And so there's a part of that where I'm like, Columbus is just not the Columbus that that we know and love. And then Houston too. Just looking for Houston to finally tell me what they are. I think that it's just a little too unknown for me. I think that's where I just am like, everything's there. Those two teams are a little too unknown for me.
I agree, but it's Columbus at home. How many times do they need to win at home? How many times do they need to not lose, not drop results? Minus 120. These two teams do not play each other a lot, and that is a common thread for this match day. There's a lot of teams that don't face each other very often. I'm kind of leaning towards the home team in the Crew. I see no reason why Houston could leave with any type of result here. Dion, do you have a lean in this match?
I mean, I would go with Columbus at home, but kind of like Scott said, it's just too unknown for both sides. Like, I don't think Houston's going to do that great this year unless something magical happens. You know, Columbus does have Nancy. I mean, that, you know,
That's one of the reasons why I did it. Yep.
Yeah, like that.
No,
that would
that,
be
yeah.
that would be one of the reasons why. And you know, Diego Rossi. I mean, he's doing good too. But yeah, if I had to bet on this game, I would put my money on Columbus. But just too much unknown, like Scott said. That's why I didn't put anything on this one.
Some of the best bets you're going to make this year are the ones that you don't. I do like Columbus Crew minus 120. I'm not sure if I love that price, but I think that this is going to be an interesting matchup between two teams that don't see each other very often. Now we are going to two teams who know each other quite well. Two teams that might be a bit of a rivalry. I know I'm a Red Bull fan, and I still think about 2018 Eastern Conference Finals, Atlanta United. Red Bulls are 10 wins, 5 draws, and 2 losses all time against Atlanta United, but one of those 2 losses really mattered. That was, really stung. And I think the other win was just last season. Last season was the first time Atlanta ever won a series against Red Bull with a win and a draw. This is a 7:30 match at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Looking at the betting here, Atlanta United plus 105 to win, Red Bull plus 220, and the draw at plus 260. That is how I see, and I am attacking this match. Red Bull have a chance. I think I like them to win or draw. We've seen what Schwartz has done so far, and I think that he's very welcoming of taking draws on the road, especially against really high-powered teams. There were a couple of places where I found a specific spot where I like Red Bull. For example, Emil Forsberg, the star number 10, likes pushing out left. The right back for this is going to be Matt Edwards. He's like the 4th stringer on Atlanta. And if we saw the way Emil Forsberg victimized Andy Nahar, who's a very good right back, I think that that's a specific area of strength. So I think Red Bull has a good chance. I'm taking Red Bull or a draw and over 1.5 goals. So as long as Red Bull wins or draws and it's not 1-0, this bet's going to cash at plus 105. That's how I found myself to get involved in this one. Scott, I know you went another route, which I also fully support.
It is a little different route. I'm with you. I favor Red Bulls in this matchup. Atlanta is a high-powered offense and an incomplete defense. As you just mentioned, they're missing Brooks Lennon at that right back. I believe they're also missing the left back. At least they were last week. But just that defense is not 100% healthy, right? That's the takeaway. It's a significant loss. But that offense, Latte Loths, Saba, Miranchuk, Almiron, all going to be on the field. I think Atlanta gets a goal in this game. So I'm making a play of both teams to score, no draw. Look, Atlanta opened against Montreal, and they went 3-2. Okay, the Red Bulls are a much better team than Montreal. I think the Red Bulls can manage that high-powered Atlanta offense and take advantage of some of these defensive frailties, and that's where I see them coming away with the win.
I like that bet a lot. Adam's saying I like over 2.5. I like it too, not at minus 142, so I'm going to look for another way. The double chance, both teams to score, no draw, plus 135. That's a better odds set for me because you're getting 70 cents. That's almost the odds on a full bet there. Dion, let's go to you. You're an Atlanta fan, right?
Yeah, and that's why I stayed clear of this one because, if I go with my heart, I want Atlanta to win. And I think that they can win. It's just we are hurting on defense. I think if we did have Brooks Lennon and Scott, you're right. Our other back is out, Amador. He is still injured, And if we had those two, I would 100% say, I'm sorry, Atlanta wins this. But because we do have like a fourth stringer, because even Hernandez, which is our third stringer, he is out. I don't know if he's playing this weekend, but he was out last weekend. So like we have a fourth stringer, and then sticking a Braum out there too. Like a Braum's supposed to be a center back. So that back line, we're struggling with injuries. So Red Bulls are definitely a better side than what Montreal are. I just couldn't put a bet on Atlanta, but I think that Atlanta could pull out a draw here, but I think it would be hard for Atlanta to win this one. And I want them to. Hopefully they do, because they are at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. It's probably going to be a packed house again. You know, that home field advantage and the fans, that helps, but I'm very right down the middle with this one. So I think if anything, a draw, but I had to stay away from a bet on this one.
Alex.
Yeah, I don't like this game at all. Cameron Harper hurt last game, not playing. Just read today Sofu is now questioned. I don't know who's going to be out front with Red Bulls. 50,000 plus fans in Atlanta. Atlanta's banged up in the back, but you've seen the Red Bulls got 7-8 guys on the injury list. I'm staying away from this game. I have no idea, but that's why I no opinion.
Over 1.5 plus 135 on the team total, really close to what I had here. Yeah, I saw 1 plus 155 a little earlier, so that looks like that's come down a little bit. Better Life, maybe you're bringing that down on your own there, bet on this match. If you want to hear more comments about what I think about this matchup, I did a guest spot on Scarves and Spikes. That was a little bit earlier tonight, so you can check that out. It'll be out sometime tomorrow morning. I talked about a half hour about this match. They couldn't shut me up. I'll see how much of it actually makes the show. That'll be the interesting part there. Moving ahead, DC United is hosting Sporting KC in the why the heck would anyone turn this on matchup. Saturday, 7:30, Audi Field. A lot of bad things to say about these teams, but sometimes these matches are the ones that have the best betting lines. Here, DC United minus 115 to win. Sporting KC plus 260. The draw was plus 280, over under 2.5 goals. 166 to the over. 160 minus 166 to the over, plus 136 to the under, and we have some team total numbers there. This is another one that I picked for my sportsbook article. It was one of my best bets, but I'm going to throw over to Scott first because I know you have a good bet on this.
I like my bet on this. I agree. This is not a game that I would normally want to turn into, but the odds are quite good. I'm picking DC to win with an over of 1.5 goals. Now, DC, 2 games this season, small sample size, but they are 2-2 in both of those games. So a lot of goals being scored. That's very in line with the DC that we saw last year. A team that is able to score some goals had, Christian Benteke just banging in goals left and right. A team that also just conceded goals left and right. SKC is bad. They're really bad.
They've had the opportunity to lose 4 games this season, and they have taken all 4 of those opportunities.
Yeah, and I just want to highlight something about SKC, which is that they played basically an entire half of soccer against 10 men in against San Jose, right? And they put up 5 total second half shots, and none of them were on target. Not a single shot on target in the second half. And Dejan Joveljic did not take a single shot in the second half, despite the fact that he played all the minutes. So, just absolutely no confidence that SKC is going to come into DC and do anything necessarily, certainly not win it. And I absolutely believe that DC on their own can cover the over 1.5, and that puts you into the plus money. So I like it. And if DC's defense does give something up, I'm really just not that worried about it. I think DC absolutely overcomes that. I think they absolutely scored 2 on their own.
Dion, you went about this another way completely. I really like this pick too. I went another way. I'm going to go last. Dion, share your thoughts with us.
Yeah, so I went with, this week, like you said, to me, there was a lot of games. You really had to dig a little bit. And I went with DC winning the first half. And the reason why I went with that is DC in their matches in MLS this season, 3 out of their 4 goals have come in the first half. Sporting Kansas City is allowed 2 out of the 3 goals in MLS play in the first half. I think DCES has allowed 2 out of the 4 in the first half, but Sporting Kansas City has only scored 1 goal in MLS. So I really think that DC is going to win in the first half just because they are scoring. They scored 75% of their goals in the first half this season so far.
I like it a lot. And if we look a little closer at what DC United did, yeah, 2-2 draws. First one was Federico Bernardeschi with a 70th minute penalty to tie the game. The second one was Benteke skying a penalty that would have had him win the game. They were within striking distance on both of those, and those are not games that Sporting KC is going to pull out. I don't think that there's any chance. I didn't want to look at it. This is my official play, DC United minus 115. The graphic says 112, but it went down to 115 before showtime, so that is the official play, DC United minus 115. Scott's got DC United in over 1.5 goals at plus 120. Dion's got DC United first half win at plus 140, pointing out that I think 3 of those 4 goals that they've scored this season have been in the first half. Awesome stuff there. Wow, we got some stinkers on the lineup today. New England Revolution hosting the Philadelphia Union. This game is also 7:30 p.m. at Gillette Stadium. Revolution plus 145 to win. Philly plus 155 to win. The draw is at plus 270. Over under 2.5 goals, minus 143 and plus 110, which means Vegas has no idea what the heck is going to happen in this match, but I will tell you what is going to happen in this match. Look, Philadelphia Union has scored 4 goals in 2 consecutive games. You might say, wow, that's shocking. It shouldn't be. Philadelphia was scoring at the end of last season too. In fact, they scored 62 times, which puts them 1 goal above LAFC and 3 goals above Orlando. And if I asked you about Orlando and LAFC's offense from last season, you would say they were very good. Yeah, Philly was very good on offense. It was the defense that was lacking. Jim Curtin left. Bradley Carnell's in. This narrow 4-1-2-1-2 has some turbocharged power, and we're seeing it. They're taking it out on their opponents. On the other side, New England, 0-1-1 on the season. They've only conceded once at home to the Columbus Crew, but I think it's skewed. I don't think Nashville's a very good offense. We saw what Red Bull did to them. So maybe they just haven't played good opponents and they're going to give up some goals. That's exactly what I'm going with. I'm going with the Philadelphia team total over 1.5 goals on this graphic. That is plus 120. That is the official play here. I just think, come on. They played twice last year. Philadelphia Union won 3-0 and 5-1. They've been scoring on this New England Revolution team. New England did nothing to get better, and I think Philadelphia Union's going to run all over them. I didn't want to take the win because this stinks of like 3-2 or like 3-1. Philly's going to be up and concede a penalty and let one go late. It's going to be 3-3. You're going to be sweating bets. I want no part of that. I'm taking the Philly team total over 1.5. Alex, you agreed with me and took the same bet here.
Yeah, I really like what Philadelphia is doing. A little nervous playing on turf. The only thing that held me back taking Philadelphia straight up, to be honest with you. But the way they're scoring, I'm going to ride it out. And to me, this makes the most sense right here. Might as well go with something with goals related. And this 1.5, to me, it sounds, I think they can get 2 goals here.
Dion, the plus 120 was not juice enough for you. You had to go and complicate things. Tell us how you arrived at your pick.
Yeah, so, the Revs haven't scored. So I think that Philadelphia, the way that they're playing, I went with Philadelphia team total over 1.5 because they've averaged 4 goals in their first 2 matches. And then the Revs are and I have them team total under 1.5 for this match for a plus 214. I like those together, and that plus 214 looked pretty good. I don't think that the Revs will score 2 goals against Philadelphia here, unless something crazy like you were saying, Bob, happens where like the Union concede a penalty in the 80th minute or something like that for them to put a second one in. I just don't see the Revs scoring more than 2, and I definitely see Philadelphia scoring more than 2. So
Scott has no official play in this match. Scott, what if I could tell you that the goalkeeper for New England Revolution dislocated his finger last week, and Ivicic may not even be available to play in this one?
it's compelling. I already have a lean towards Philadelphia. I admit. I looked at this one for a long time. And at the end of the day, I didn't settle on anything that I really, really liked. I'll give you something that I was kind of looking at. Ty Baribo, who is off to just an absolute blinder of a start. He is plus 180 as an anytime goal scorer. That is something I could be really, really tempted by. I definitely have a lean towards Philly. I agree with what you guys are saying. I think Philly can easily score 2 goals. It's weird things happen, right? Weird things happen. You go in, this is kind of a new, different New England team, lot of changes. Stuff stops at some point, right? That was my concern.
Okay, we will take a look at this later on. Official plays, team total over 1.5 goals, and Philly over 1.5 goals, Revs under 1.5 goals. That's a plus 214 for Dion. Let's move now to Dallas, the great state of Texas. Saturday, this is going to be 8:30 at Toyota Stadium. They host the Chicago Fire. You have Dallas at minus 130, Chicago Fire plus 300 to win. The draw is at plus 290. All leans heavy towards Dallas. Over under on 2.5 goals, minus 154 to the over, plus 126 to the under. And there's some team totals here. Dallas over under 1.5 goals, minus 148 to the over. So Vegas is looking at Dallas putting up some goals early, and also looking at Chicago scoring the under, minus 245 on the team total. That seems very definitive to me for a minus 130 bet line for Dallas here. Scott, you have an official play. Alex, you have an official play. Let's throw it to Alex first.
I really like what Dallas getting Acosta here. Musa. Chicago, to me, going on the road in Dallas. I'm starting to lean toward looking at Dallas at home, whoever they play going forward, especially with Acosta being healthy. I know they just signed a very good defensive midfielder from Brazil, from Grêmio, I do believe, 4th richest signing ever. So he'll be arriving too that let Acosta even run even more free. Again, it's more about me taking Dallas at home with Acosta and Musa being kind of hot to me, and not what Chicago has to offer in this game going on the road. So that's why I'm going to take Dallas straight up at minus 130.
I looked at that. I agree with so much of that because I love the way that Peter Musa and Lucho Acosta are starting to play together. And you still have Anderson Julio running that wing and causing a problem for defenses. That it's just a very potent group already that will continue to get better. So I love the way that Dallas, offense can just hurt teams in so many different ways. I took that 130. I said, yes, I think Dallas is going to win. I just wanted a little better odds. So I paired that with an over 1.5. That gives me plus 110. I think Dallas is totally capable of covering that by themselves. But I looked at Chicago. Brian Gutierrez is back from suspension. So Chicago's just going to be a little bit more dangerous. There is a chance that with, Dallas kind of pushing forward that Chicago could get something. I see Dallas scoring 2 goals anyways. So I think that over gets covered easily. I don't see a 1-0 game at all. And then plus money.
Love it. So those are our 2 official plays here. Scott with Dallas and over 1.5 goals. Alex with Dallas at minus 130. My lean would be towards Dallas, but no one's asking me. We're going to move right on here and talk about Nashville hosting Portland. I promised some stinkers on this matchup, and boy, are we going to deliver. Saturday, 8:30. This game is at Geodis Park in Nashville. Nashville is minus 112 to win. Okay, we're doing that. Portland Timbers plus 260. The draw at plus 280. Over under 2.5 goals. Minus 135 to the over. Minus 107 to the under. That's my bet. My bet is the 107 to the under. Nashville's offense is bad. They're really bad. And we thought, and we let people come on the show and talk us into that a new year would bring new offensive production. Well, I watched Tag Seth in person. He is not playing forward. He is a defensive player on this squad now. I don't know how that worked out. Mukhtar Surge have nothing just connecting for nothing. Portland, really bad. They're without their number 10 from last season, right? There's no Evander there. There's no Jonathan Rodriguez there. They got nothing.
Really
I have no idea. Portland put up a strong defensive performance somehow last week. Even Pantomis, I think, was surprised that he kept a clean sheet. I don't know who's scoring goals here. I don't know that I'm as confident at an under of 2.5 goals as much as I'm confident that the over shouldn't be minus 138. This is less of like a lean play and more of a, we got to look at these little spots where you're getting 10, 15, 20% on what shouldn't be and hammering it. I didn't want to talk about this game, but does anyone have any words of encouragement towards an under against two horrible teams here?
Schaffelberg, questionable. Tyler Boyd, out. Brugman, questionable. Brian Acosta, questionable. Arujo, questionable. Kripo, questionable. Mosquera, questionable. Jonathan Rodriguez, questionable. Look, these teams are just decimated right now with, those are important players. Not available. So, yes, I kind of agree with you there. The under, there's a little value there that maybe shouldn't be there.
The only thing,
the boredom in Alex's face is palpable right now.
Well, the only thing DaCosta to me in Portland intrigues me. I think he's pretty good, actually. What I've seen, anytime goal scorer, I don't know what odds are on him, but that's the only thing I'll be looking at Portland right now. Him to score a goal. Other than that, I have no interest in this game. Again, I don't know where Nashville gets their service for Mukhtar or Sturridge to score. They don't have it. Portland's defense, to me, I don't like it at all. So to me, this game is that. I don't like it at all. But anything, I'd watch it to see how DaCosta's doing, their new DP signing, but for Portland. But other than that, I'd stay away from this game for me personally. Bob, what you doing with the under minus 2.5? That makes the most sense, though. If I had to do something, I expect a low scoring game in this game.
And I think that I agree with DaCosta. We've talked about that a lot of times on this show, and I agree. I just don't think that the timing's good. He came in 5 days before the start of the Major League Soccer season.
It's the only reason to watch right now for Portland. Yeah,
the stir that stirs the drink there, and there's just not enough time. Dion, do you have a lean in this? Do you have anything? Do you just want to go to the next graphic? Like you're just sick of looking at this?
Yeah, you could really just get. I agree with you. That play is probably the best play. But yeah, I have nothing else to say. You guys hit every part of that one.
RSL has another home match here. They're hosting San Diego FC. This is a 9:30 game, America First Field. RSL, minus 115 home favorites. San Diego, plus 270 on the road. Draw, plus 270. Now, right now I'm looking at this and I'm telling you, San Diego FC is a good squad. They played a fantastic St. Louis defense that I did not expect to play as well as they did. They really bunkered with those 5 guys and looked fantastic. I wrote about this in my sportsbook article you can find on thedesignatedpundits.com. And I just think San Diego or draw minus 125, you're covering a lot of different results there. San Diego's been pretty good on defense too. RSL has had their struggles that have been well documented. I wanted exposure to this game and couldn't find a plus bet, but I'm actually quite happy minus 125 for 2 results that I think have a 65% chance of hitting one of those 2. Scott, you are our resident RSL fan. You saw them play with a plan. You saw them play good, definitive football, but San Diego's got some juice too.
San Diego does have some juice, but Irving Lozano pulled up just last week with a hamstring, right? RotoWire has him listed as questionable, but I would be
He's
shocked.
out. I sent you guys the thing. He's out. He's definitely not playing this weekend.
So I think that San Diego with Chucky and San Diego without Chucky are 2 very different dynamics. It's not that San Diego doesn't have good bones, but he provides them an element of dynamic movement and play off that left side that they can't recreate when he's not in. I think that really, really matters. I think the way that RSL dominates and controls the ball, San Diego is going to need to be clinical and really good on the counter. And without that piece of it, I think that's going to be a lot harder for them to do. And then just sort of last but not least, we saw them struggle to score goals once Chucky went out. I think this game is just going to be low scoring. RSL does have a plan. They can control the ball. They can control the play. They don't have a ton of dynamic goal scoring. So I'm looking at that under 2.5 goals plus 112. This could be a 1-0 game.
I completely agree with those things. As long as San Diego is the one to come up with the one goal, I'm good. Again, this is a spot for me where I just don't think the results for these two squads necessitated San Diego to be a plus 270. Like that is a huge number that we wouldn't see around. San Diego's been good so far this season. I just think that it should be closer to plus 105 for RSL and, minus 200 for San Diego. I think we are getting value, especially with the double chance. That's covering a lot of possibilities of things that could happen here.
So I think on this one, I would go. I don't know what the number is for Real Salt Lake or draw, but I think I would go with that over the San Diego to draw.
We'll call it minus 170.
Is it 170?
I'm just making a guess. Minus 170. Probably
talk amongst yourselves. I'm sure I can find it really quickly.
But yeah, I just think. I mean, I was very surprised. I'm sorry, Scott. I was surprised that RSL beat Seattle 2-0 last weekend. I know that. Did Seattle have a midweek game before that? I can't remember.
I think
they both did.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They both did. Yeah.
Both did.
So I was surprised that Real Salt Lake won 2-0 over Seattle, and I think that Real Salt Lake could be on a move upwards, and then with San Diego losing Chucky, I think if Chucky would have played all game against St. Louis, that game would have ended 1-0 in San Diego's favor. But with him being out, I think that he's a key part of that offense. I can't see them winning this game.
San Diego has played against some bad offenses, let's be honest. RSL or tie, by the way, minus 360.
Yeah, it's even worse than I thought. So there, you'd have to pair that with an over and under.
Yeah.
Just go with the under. Just take the under, and then you don't care because nobody's going to score a hat trick here today. San Diego's defense is good, by the way. So
yes, they are.
San Diego under 1.5 goals at minus 250. They are not expected to put anything on the net. One official play there. Myself, San Diego, or draw minus 125. Let's finish up with LA Galaxy hosting St. Louis City. This is 9:30 p.m. Eastern time on Sunday, Dignity Health Sports Park. This is going to be the prime time match that we've all kind of been waiting for. I think it's actually going to be a sneaky good game. If you look at the odds here, LA Galaxy minus 150 for the win, St. Louis City plus 340, and the draw plus 310. Over under 2.5 goals, minus 210 for the over, plus 170 for the under. Galaxy team total 1.5, minus 205 for the over, plus 158 for the under. I need to start making these fonts bigger. My old eyes can't handle this late at night. St. Louis City over under 1.5, plus 165 to the over, minus 220 for the under. This is another match where I don't think the odds quite reflect the possibilities we're seeing. And this was the feature of my sportsbook article this week. LA Galaxy have already surpassed their 2024 home loss record. They had 0 last season. They have 1 this time. And you have St. Louis City fresh off a 0-0 draw against the same San Diego team we just talked about last week. It's rare we see kind of parallelism like that so early in the MLS season, so we got to take advantage of the information that we have. Playing without Paintsill and Ricky Puig has had a negative effect on the LA Galaxy. They have just 1 goal and 1.3 expected goals over their first 2 matches. St. Louis City, comparatively, has 2 expected goals and 2 0-0 draws. And while they haven't scored, they still have some really good players that we've talked about on this squad that came in last season. So I do expect them to turn around a little bit. I think Hartel and Tuchert alone had over a goal and an assist per game over the last course of last season. In their last match, St. Louis conceded 66% of possession in 16 shots, but allowed only 1 shot on target. They allowed 36 touches inside their own penalty area and still left with a 0-0 draw. They were compact. They had a 5-man back line bunker. And that's what you would expect of Olof Mellberg, who's a former Premier League defender. And I'm wondering if he really is taking that next level of win at home, draw on the road. That was like exactly what they aim for. In MLS, you don't necessarily see it all the time, but I think Mellberg may be playing with that. I like the draw best, but that's heavy, plus 310. You can get the draw or the St. Louis City win, which I don't think is likely, but it's plus 125. That's fantastic odds. LA Galaxy's shown me nothing. They are getting points for what they did last season, and this is a drastically different team without two of what I would call their best players from last year. I see a draw. I like the plus 310. I'll be sprinkling a little bit of that on there, but the official play is St. Louis City or draw at plus 125.
Yeah, interesting thing. I like the stats you brought up. I appreciate that. The expected goals, both of those are terrible numbers. 1.2 for the season for the Galaxy, 2.1 for the season for St. Louis. That's not very good. Shots on target, this is really sad. For the Galaxy, 2.5 shots on target per game. For St. Louis, 3.5 shots on target per game. Those are bad numbers. Big chances, 2 apiece. Touches in the opposition box. If you are a Galaxy fan, turn away now. Total of 22 for the season. That is dead last in the league. St. Louis fans, I guess hold your head up in pride. 41. That's 18th in the league. Look, St. Louis is a little better at getting the ball into those dangerous spots, but they are not good at turning those into meaningful chances. The Galaxy just aren't getting the ball there. I looked at their forward touch numbers. Let's see now. Ramirez had, I want to start here with Barry. Barry had 11 touches of the ball in 71 minutes against Vancouver. That is the one time that the LA Galaxy scored a goal, by the way. He had an assist. Ramirez had 13 touches in 64 minutes against San Diego. They did not score a goal in that game. He had 18 touches in 72 minutes on Wednesday against Herediano. They did not score in that game. Look, these offenses are bad and the defenses are okay. St. Louis's defense especially is really good. The Galaxy midweek game in Costa Rica going to be a bit, jet laggy, a bit travel laggy. St. Louis going back and forth. I just see this game being, I actually don't see it being sneaky good. I see it being a little bit messy, a little bit sloppy, a little bit cagey. Both of these teams know that one goal could win it because both of these teams are not good at scoring goals. I think they're going to try and not give away anything cheap. And so I'm betting the under, just under 2.5. I found it at 155. You've got it here at 170. That's what I see. Alex, I think you're with me on that one.
Yeah, I'm almost shocked how bad the Galaxy look. Defending champions. I don't remember a time, recent memory, that a defending champion the following year was this poor. They can't score. And with the travel and Champions League and everything what Bob said about St. Louis, they're playing a defensive Bundesliga style, kind of, to me, reminds me of like a tough German team that 5 in the back, any ball in the air, you're going to win. Under, to me, made the most sense. If anything, I was thinking of St. Louis double chance for a second. But I was like, let's just take nobody's going to score in this game. The unders, I think, to me, is the best bet.
You're getting this year's product at last year's price, and I do agree with that. And the scary thing for Galaxy is they were really bad 2 years ago. They turned it around last year. They're a season removed from being the worst team in the Western Conference. Dion, you also have a play here.
Yeah, I went with the same thing with you, Bob. I think St. Louis or draw at the 125. Look, I watched the match last night where they played Herediano. No, the best player on the Galaxy team was Garces. He played very good defensively, but Peck looked pretty good. He made some pretty good runs forward, but just nothing looked. They don't have someone to score the ball. I mean, I really thought that Ramirez was going to be good for them, and maybe he will be once Puig comes back, when you have that kind of facilitator to you. They were having Marco Royce drop back kind of like the way that Puig plays. It worked for a little bit, but then they kind of went away from it, and Cerrillo started doing it. They kept going back and forth between those two, but they just don't really look all that great. And I think St. Louis's defense, in this one, if St. Louis can get 1 goal, I think they win this match with how good their defense is.
Yeah. And look, I'm not writing off the Galaxy this early in the season. Like, let's wait till Paintsill gets back. Let's give this team a chance to try and figure out what they are, but they haven't figured it out. They really haven't.
I agree. It's been shocking, but these things happen. We've seen a lot weirder in Major League Soccer, to be completely honest. Gentlemen, that is a great show. We have a lot of really nice picks here. Let's see if I can review. Did I do that correctly? Our picks from the week. I have Red Bull double chance, over 1.5 goals, DC United, Philly team total, Nashville and Portland under 2.5 goals, San Diego and St. Louis. Dion only 3 bets, but they're all heavy plus money plays. DC United first half plus 140, Philly team total over 1.5, and Revs under 1.5 at plus 214, and St. Louis double chance at plus 125. Scott, Atlanta and Red Bull, both teams to score no draw. First time we're pulling that out on the young season. Plus 135, always a fun play there. As long as someone wins, we can cash money. DC United in over 1.5. Dallas in over 1.5. Galaxy and St. Louis under 2.5 goals. And Alex, Crew minus 120. Philly team total over 1.5. FC Dallas outright to win. And LA Galaxy and St. Louis under 2.5 goals at plus 155. Those are our final plays for this week. Make sure you go over to the Designated Pundits. Check out what we are up to. DesignatedPundits.com, youtube.com/@thedesignatedpundits. Gentlemen, have a great week, and we'll see you all again real soon. Lucky betting out there, and have a great weekend.